Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. And here we are today to review the one and only Bandon Dunes Golf Resort in Bandon, Oregon. Let me start off by saying, wow, what a venue. I mean, if you're looking for a golf vacation where, you're just going to get the most fabulous experience, in my opinion, of your life, you could do no better than Bandon Dunes, or at least it would be very hard to beat, in my opinion. So, you can see on the wall back here, I've got a bunch of swag that I've got from the course. I'm wearing my old Mac shirt, and I've got some other clothing from Bandon as well. My rain jackets from Trails. Let's see here, I've got a kind of a mid-weight thermal jacket from Bandon Dunes itself, that logo on it. Let's see here, I got another long sleeve shirt that I actually kind of jacked up with some cigarage. It's got a little cigar scar on it, with also the old Mac Ghost Tree logo, which is my favorite logo on property. Let's see here, a Bandon Dunes hat. I got all kinds of stuff from Bandon Dunes. I just love the place. Let me start out by saying that. So, let's do the review here. So I've been out there twice now. The content that's up on the channel is just 4 courses where we play Sheep Ranch, Pacific Dunes, Old Mac, and the Preserve. But I've got my scorecards here from Bandon Dunes and Bandon Trails. So I'll share with you what I scored on that back in 2020, October of 2020, when I was out there for the first time and played these 2 as well. In that trip, actually, the only course that I did not get to play was the Preserve, the par 3 course, 13-hole par 3 course. So I was quite excited to get to play that this time, so that now I can say I have played them all, which is awesome. So yeah, at Bandon Dunes last time, in October 2020, I shot an 89, that's a 46 on the front, and a 43 on the back, and that's playing it from the green tees, which is 1 up from the tips, at 62.21 for the yardage, where the course pushes all the way out to 67.32, with a rating of 74.1, slope of 143, so that's about right. From where I played them from, a 71.4, slope of 133. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, that's good. And Trails, what I think is the most difficult course out there for sure. Definitely the most obstacles for you to play around. Very much so tighter in the way of fairway width and kind of green size, honestly, than the rest of the courses out there. And the least ocean views, really. There's only 1 hole out there where you can see the ocean from, actually, and it's way up on this elevated tee box when you're hitting out onto this hole, which I can't remember. I think it's somewhere on the back 9, but I can't recall exactly which hole. It's been a while. But anyway, and apparently that's right where, shoot, was it? I can't remember the gentleman that actually bought the land to create Bandon Dunes back in, I think, 1999. But that's where he was up there, standing there with the previous owners of the property, and apparently gave out an expletive. Yeah, you know what that is. But I won't do that on the channel, especially not on a formal review like this. Said, I'll buy the place. So, and from that point where he was standing was actually on that very high tiered tee box on Bandon Trails, looking out over the ocean out yonder. So, and I shot an 8, or on Trails I shot an 88. Apparently I shot better than I thought I did. Yeah, 46 on the front. Yeah, I remember getting my lunch eaten there. And 42 on the back. Yeah. How was it that I did that? Oh, look at that. Okay. I shot no double bogeys on the back. 2 pars. 14 and 15 I parred them. And then, but on the front 9, doubled the first hole. And then bogey. And then par for 3 and 4. 5 bogey. 6 bogey. 7 another double bogey. 8 bogey. And then 9 another double bogey. Yeah. So that's how I ended up with that 46 score. on the front, 10 over on the front. Brutal. Yeah, tough track out there at Bandon Trails, let me tell you, but gorgeous. But if you're looking for those ocean views, you're really not going to get it on trails. So, yeah. Bandon Dunes, however, absolutely, you will. And on Bandon Dunes, I would say that, what is it? I've actually got the map right up here behind me. Yes, number 16, my favorite hole, for sure. Yeah, drivable par 4. What did I hit? I actually hit a 5-iron out there, I remember, onto this tier of the green, right there, if you can see that. I know there's some glare coming in from this window that I can't cover up way up there behind the camera. And then I actually hit putter from the fairway, like I like to do, up onto the green, and then, what is it? Oh, okay. Yeah, but I still bogeyed it, so I must have 3-putted when I got, no, I'm looking at dunes, right? Yeah. Yeah, so I must have 3-putted when I was actually on the green. Trails is actually the only course that I don't have any footage of whatsoever. If you go and look in the channel and look for the Photo Caddy promo video that's been up on the channel for a while now, you can see some footage from 2020 from this pilot program that Pops and I were a part of back then. And the guys out there, so Alex Smith is one of the guys who's running that program. And I can't remember the other guy's name who's doing all of the editing, but Alex Smith is, and I saw him again, I just happened to run into him just this last trip, May of 2020, and he was just, doing his job as a regular caddy, right? So he was double looping it, right? 2 bags on the shoulder, coming off of, what was he coming off of there? Oh yes, he was coming off of Pacific Dunes, yeah, just as we were about to leave from the trip. We were just hitting the punch bowl right before we departed from the establishment and headed on back home. But yeah, so he's an actual caddy out there, and he does some great work out there as a photo caddy, or with the Photo Caddy program as well. So if you're looking to go out there and play Bandon, and you want to get some video and photo content of your own, right? Whether or not you're going to put it up on YouTube, or if you just want it for your own keepsake and your own memories of your trip out there to this very, very special venue, then I would highly, highly recommend enlisting their services, right? The Photo Caddy guys out there. So just call them up, ask for Alex Smith with Photo Caddy, and they will be able to set you up, I'm sure of it. So, yeah. There's that. So since we didn't get any content from Bandon Dunes and Bandon Trails this trip, the full course vlog, this can't be the last time I go out there. I got to go out there again. It's a place that you can't just go more than once, if you can afford it. That is, it's very expensive out there, but it's like heaven on earth for a golfer. It really is, and that's saying something. I'm pretty critical in my reviews, so I'm not going to take it easy on any course, but that place, most certainly. Okay, so let's get to the courses that I did review and the property as a whole. So, again, like always, because it always ends with money, let's start out with the money. So, I'm looking at the 2022 green fees right now. So they have a lot of different rates. I recommend going to the site and looking at them all. But let's line it down from May. Specifically, there are rates for May, which is precisely the month that I played all of these rounds in this video series time-wise. So for resort guest rates, it's $240. Resort guest replay, $120. And this is for Bandon Dunes, Pacific Dunes, Bandon Trails, Old McDonald, and Sheep Ranch. So same rates for all of those courses. And then it's significantly cheaper for the preserve, obviously. I think it's like $100 or something to play the preserve. It's worth it, though. Worth it. Let me just cut to the chase. Spoiler alert, because I usually reserve that for the end. But for the preserve, I don't care how much they're charging. It's not that much, but I mean, okay, it's steep for a par 3 course if you're just looking at it as just another par 3 course for 13-hole track. But wow, the beauty on those little tiny 13 holes there. Worth it. You got to do it. You just don't miss it. Do not miss the preserve. Awesome. Awesome little course. And I think A portion of, if not all, of the proceeds from the preserve go to charity, actually. I don't think they really make anything of it. Yeah, all net proceeds from Bandon Preserve will benefit Wild Rivers Coast Alliance. The Alliance supports projects... I'm reading this right off the scorecard. The Alliance supports projects on the south coast of Oregon that are committed to the triple bottom line: conservation, community, and economy. Through promoting healthy fish and species habitat, working landscapes and seascapes, sustainable tourism, and local entrepreneurs, the Alliance seeks a thriving South Coast economy, South Oregon, that is, while simultaneously restoring and enhancing its critical natural resources. Bandon Preserve will also protect and preserve the, silvery physalia? Oh, Lord. Let's hope I pronounced that right. An endangered plant species whose habitat is threatened by non-native plants. I'm going to have some more commentary on non-native plants later in this video here, specifically when we talk about sheep ranch, that's for sure. By reclaiming the open sand along Bandon Preserve, the silvery physalia and other native dunes plants will once again be able to flourish. Enjoy the walk, and thank you for helping to preserve the natural beauty on the south coast of Oregon. So there's the entire Bandon Preserve sort of proceed sort of preface there for you. So you're supporting a good cause too by playing this magnificent par 3 course. But back to the prices here for May. So a day guest, again, that was resort guest $240, resort guest replay $120, day guest $285, and so day guest is, you must book, let's see here, I guess 20 or within 21 days in advance of your play, and you're probably not getting a tee time if you wait until 3 weeks out. So if you book hotel and everything else like that, and if you're not staying on property, and then try to book a tee time at any of the courses just a mere 3 weeks out, you're probably not getting on, man. Sorry. So yeah, that 285 rate for the day guest, yeah, it's pretty much moot, I think, just because they're so booked up out there all the time. Day guest replay, $145. Premium day guest, which is you are not staying on property, but you can book further out than 21 days. So, which is what we did. We booked way, way out in advance just because, well, we knew we'd have to. But then you're paying a premium for that. That's $335. Premium day guest replay, $145. So same price as the day guest replay. Oregon resident, if you happen to live in Oregon, $240. So not too shabby. Let's see here. And then throughout the, and then the next month it jumps up pretty much across the board for like $30 across the board for June. And then another $30 July through September. And then it drops back down in October. Ooh, not quite to the May rates though. Still $10 more than the May rates. So yeah, it's cheaper to play in May than it is in October. So there you go. But I highly recommend that you look up on their site and go check out all of the current rates, as I'm sure they will fluctuate. So there's that. Now, let's get into the review of the whole property here. So let's start with lodging, because that's the first place you're going to go. So the first time back in October of 2020 that I went out there, we actually did stay on property. So, and I think we stayed on Chrome Lake, if I remember right. It's like this little kind of pond that's forest surrounded and everything. And yeah, so it was a nice view out the back patio there. But the room itself was, okay, it was a modest size. It was, me and Pop shared a room. And so it's 2 queen-size beds, and then a TV, and your typical little bathroom, little kind of small cabin-y feel to it. So that was neato. And so if you do stay on property, obviously, see here, what would it have been? That would have been a $50 decrease in Price per round, if we would have done that this May of this year. Yeah, that's right. So we just save $50 per round. So if you play them all, I mean that's 5 courses. So you're looking at $250 in savings for all of your rounds if you do stay on property. It is significantly more expensive to stay on property than it is to stay out in the local economy. So pick your poison. So far as your cost there, it might actually be cheaper to stay out in town rather than to stay on property and just pay full price for your rounds. However, this last time in May, we did stay in, I can't remember the name of the hotel now, out on the economy. And it's a very, very small town. And that's kind of the beauty about Bandon, by the way. I'll get back to lodging in a second, but part of the majesty of it is Bandon itself, as a municipality, is just like a little small fishing town, right? Maybe more appropriately described as a village, right? It's just very small, like nothing for population. So the residents who live there, they either fish, work in one of the local, establishments there, the few of them that there are in terms of businesses, or they work for one of the golf courses, which is, Bandon Dunes being the largest of them. And then there's also a course that I have not played in Bandon that's not on property called Bandon Crossings. Apparently that's where a lot of the caddies like to go a lot of the time, just because they're walking all the time on Bandon Dunes, because that's what they do for a living. Of course, on Bandon Dunes, in order to get a cart that you actually ride around in, right, you have to pretty much be on your, disabled, right? You got to be able to show a disability. And I hear tell that it's pretty pricey to get a cart, even if you can show a disability, to get one anyway. So they really want everybody to walk out there at Bandon like it's supposed to. And all the courses are very walkable. So I would not worry about it. You're not going to die, even if you're not used to walking all the time. You're as long as you're in some kind of decent shape, you're going to be able to walk Bandon Dunes. And all of the Bandon Dunes courses, you'll be able to do it. They're all really easy. I sprint most of them, right? Especially when I'm vlogging, I was sprinting from shot to shot on, like, I want to say 80% of the holes that we played. And that was Sheep Ranch, Pacific, Old Mac, and the Preserve. Running, right, to set up the camera and stuff like that. So if I can do that, I'm in pretty good shape. But if I can do that, then someone in modest shape should easily be able to walk those courses. No problem. Don't worry about it. And if you get a caddy, you don't have to, push your cart. It's just you walking. Even easier, right? So there's that. So back to lodging. Well, back to Bandon Crossings for a second. Then I'll revert back to lodging. Kind of jump all over the place. So apparently Bandon Crossings is where a lot of the caddies like to play. So if I haven't played there yet, probably next time that I visit the area of Bandon, I'd kind of like to get on and play Bandon Crossings, just say I played it. And maybe run into a bunch of the caddies that I would otherwise see out on the Bandon Dunes property instead. So that'd be kind of neat to actually play with them instead of just kind of watching them walk around and give green reads and suggestions on how to play a hole and whatnot. But so yeah, there's that. And then speaking of caddies, so I mentioned Alex Smith, excellent, both caddy and photo caddy. And then Tim, don't know his last name, the guy that my uncle had caddying for him on this last trip. He was awesome, really great guy. So call out there, ask for Tim, something or other. If you say, hey, can we get Tim? If you request him as a caddy specifically, and you and they just point him towards my videos, well, his face is in these videos, sporadically throughout there. I think I got some content on him, or of him, on Sheep Ranch and Old Mac, more specifically. So, because my uncle was helping me film on Pacific Dunes, my Uncle Gil there. So that was quite nice. So I don't know how much Tim got into the frame in those, but if you point them towards my Old Mac video, then they'll know who you're talking about because they'll be able to see his face right there. So that's cool. Excellent, excellent caddy. Did a great job for my uncle there. So yeah, let's see here. Lodging. Yeah, they've got plenty of lodging options on Bandon Dunes. Several different lodges that you can stay in. You can stay in kind of the small hotel that they have right there as part of the main clubhouse at the Bandon Dunes course itself. You stay on I believe it's Chrome Lake like we did. And then they've got some larger cottages out there that are, you know, multi-bedroom. If you're coming out there with a full foursome, you all want to split a cottage, you know, larger estate, if you will, to hang out in while you're not out there on the links. So yeah, a bunch of different options, and you do get a pretty nice discount on the rounds of golf. So you've got that as well. So a bunch of different ways to play it out there in terms of lodging and tee time scheduling configurations, let's say, for lack of a better word, at the moment. So, all right, so that's about all I got to say about lodging. Oh, well, okay, there's one gripe that I had about the Chrome Lake properties there. They didn't have a balcony out the back. It was just like a, you know, you could, there was a window and a sliding glass door, and then there was just a rail right there. And it's like you couldn't, you know, there was no like little outdoor kind of cubby-ish balcony area or patio area for you to go out and like early in the morning have a cup of coffee or what have you, hang out and look out over the lake outside. Yeah, if I was them, I would add that to those properties there. That's kind of a nice touch that you would expect from a property like that they didn't have in those particular rooms down there. So not sure about the other ones. There might be balconies, can't remember. Looking backwards, because from the first tee of Bandon Dunes, if you look back, or the putting green, you can see the backside of the hotel there. So I don't recall if there were balconies off those rooms or not. But anyway, yeah, for those Chrome Lake ones that we stayed in, I would recommend adding that if they were going to improve those in any way. All right, so food. Let's talk about that. Top notch, all around. So you've got the pub. What is that called? Let's see here. I'm on their site right here. So Food and Spirits. Here we have it. So okay, what did we go to? We went to. I've eaten at McKee's, and then I've eaten at the Pacific Grill. I think I had a drink at the Bunker, and we had lunch at Trails End. So. Pacific Grill, that's the steakhouse that's upstairs from the clubhouse at Pacific Dunes, which is also co-located with the Punch Bowl. McKee's Pub is right there at the main clubhouse. Let's see here, that's at Bandon Dunes, the course itself. Trails End, that's the clubhouse, obviously, for Bandon Trails, which is a shared clubhouse with the Preserve as well. So lunch at the, let's start there. Let's start at Trails End. I did not eat at the Forge Steakhouse. Next time I'll have to make a point to go out there and do that. The Tufted Puffin. That's right. Now that's their breakfast joint. Yeah, that's like the little kind of more coffee shop-ish place. Also at the main clubhouse at Bandon Dunes course there. And that was really good too. So I've eaten there. Have not, I think we got a drink at the Bunker if I remember right, but that was that. And I did not eat at Sheep Ranch. Do they have anything at Sheep Ranch for food? I don't recall a restaurant there. Well, I guess there is though. There's a little patio you can sit down and whatnot. But, okay, so starting with Trails End, back to that. So, yeah, pretty awesome lunch that we had there. I can't remember exactly what I had. That was back in 2022 when we did that. But I had some kind of a burger or something, and I recall it being really good. So yeah, that was good. The Tufted Puffin, that's the lounge at the main clubhouse there. Yeah, that was. I mean, good breakfast food, typical, like you would expect anywhere. You know, omelets and whatnot, eggs pretty much any way you want them. But top notch, you know, everything I ate there, the entire trip was really good. We ate there like 4 times. You know, before our rounds throughout that trip. McKee's Pub, excellent if you're looking for like a, you know, especially if you've got a bunch of, it's like a guy's trip and you want to go out there and have some good food and you know, drink some beer or whatnot. Yeah, highly recommended out there. What is it? It's like on something or other's meatloaf. And I had that the last time, and this last trip when Pops and I went there for dinner one night. And, you know, it was really good. Apparently that's like one of their signature dishes there, this meatloaf. And I thought it was really, really good meatloaf. So I recommend it for sure. The Pacific Grill, excellent. Yes, for all the restaurants that I have attended there, which is apparently just those 4. Yeah, that was my favorite for sure. Gosh, and that was back in 2020 as well, so that's reaching 2 years ago. And I can't remember what I had for dinner there either, but no doubt I had a steak, and I recall really enjoying it as well. Their wine list was modest, but it was good. I mean, they had a really good Pinot selection, as you would expect. I remember that. Yeah, being in Oregon or Washington, if you don't have a good Pinot selection, it's like, what are you doing? You know, that's kind of their forte up there, in the wine sense. But yeah, if I recall, they had Domaine Drouin there and Domaine Serene, which are my 2 favorite Northwestern Pinots. Fun fact. So yeah, that's Domaine Drouin and Domaine Serene again. So yeah. So and if I remember right, they did have both of those on the list. So anyway, yeah, decent wine selection. But of course, I'm an old-fashioned connoisseur. You know this. So their old-fashioned their signature old-fashioned, they do it with a Leporeg, which is a particularly peaty whiskey, right, or Scotch. So not my style, honestly. Like I knew that before I ordered one when I saw that they used Leporeg as the menu Scotch there for the old fashioned. So I specifically requested the double oak something or other. Gosh, I can't remember what I did have them put in it now. But whatever I did, it was really good. But it was the double wood something. It's on their list there for whiskeys, and they do have quite the impressive whiskey list there for sure. Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much anything you want in terms of whiskey, I mean, anything I could have wanted, it was there for sure. But yeah, gosh, I wish I could remember what whiskey I did use in their old fashioned. Nevertheless, when I got it, it was very good. So the actual the make of it, I guess you would say, the bitters to cherry juice and everything else, aromatic bitters and orange bitters, so on and so forth, whatever they used in it. It was a really good combination there. I thought it was a little bit leaning towards the whiskey side in terms of the forwardness of what flavor that you pick out, but not so much that it was overpowering. Definitely not watered down to where it was just kind of bland and not very fruity. So yeah, that's kind of the one that I had. That's my critique of it. So good old fashioned, I'd recommend it. And if you like peaty whiskeys, maybe try it with the Leporeg. And I get it, right? Peatiness, kind of that edges on the flavor of smokiness, though not really from my palate. So I get it. They're trying to sort of mimic a smoked old fashioned by using a peaty Scotch in there with it. But yeah, not my thing. I don't like heavy peated Scotch. So my preference. If you disagree, hey, more power to you. But the bartender made me a really good one. So there's that. Let's see here. The best view, I think, of the restaurants that I frequented. God, it's hard to pick. Trails End was really cool. They've got a bunch of chairs out there that you can lounge out on and just kind of look out over the course. It's really neat. Pacific Grill, you're looking out over the Punch Bowl in the immediate sense. And then out over sort of, what is that? Is that the back nine that comes out for Pacific Dunes out onto the distance, and then the ocean in the further background. So that was a nice view, but only for like 4 tables of it. So, because the rest of them are kind of behind that, and then you're looking through other people in order to see out towards that view. Whereas Trails End, you can just walk outside, hang out on a chair, and then everyone's getting that same magnificent view out over is that the first hole of Trails, if I remember right? Yeah, first or 18th, one of those typical, right? But anyway, real nice. McKee's, that's all inside. Tufted Puffin, you get kind of a nice window view if you get the right table out at the putting green on Bandon Dunes. So there's that. So that's my review and opinion of the cuisine establishments, the restaurants that I have been to there. And next time I go back, I'll have to check out the Forge and then maybe follow up with a review on that. Probably won't be for a while because, you know, I don't go out to Bandon all that often. Kind of lucky to have been out there twice already in my life. And the bunker and whatever food they've got at Sheep Ranch here that I don't recall there being anything I didn't eat there. But okay, so let's see here. What next? Let's talk about the staff. Staff there, pretty top notch. Both trips I've been out there, everyone was awesome. Gosh, you know, little short story. So this last time we'd just gotten off, let's see here, I believe we'd just gotten off Pacific. And we went back over there to, yeah, that was the evening that we went and had dinner at at McKee's, this last trip that these videos are all from. And I wanted to go up in the little gift shop, right, like the, you know, all the fancy merches. And they had just closed. It was like 8 o'clock on the dot. But the gal was still in there, and she opened the door anyway and let me in and stayed an extra 15 minutes after her shift just to let me peruse. So, and I did. I ended up just finding this towel that I wanted from the preserve. So, yeah. She was like, "You kept me open for 15 minutes just to get a towel?" Just kind of sassing me, but she wasn't serious. But yeah, she let me get up in there and take a look at the stuff. I just wanted to see if they had anything new. And then, yeah, my tufted puffin from Bandon. Yep, it'll probably be on my driver forever. Maybe not, I don't know. But it's going to be on there for the foreseeable future anyway, so got this there too. Daphne's, obviously, for all the fluffy club head covers out there. Love it. This putter cover from the Punch Bowl doesn't exist anymore. They don't sell them, I found out, anymore. So if you want yourself a Punch Bowl club head cover for your putter, which is like, what better putter head cover from a course, if you can call that. It's just a massive putting green, right? Could you possibly get? All you can do at the Punch Bowl is putt. So it's like, that's what I want covering my putter. I love it. And I was going to get another one, but yeah, they don't sell them anymore, unfortunately. So yeah, it is what it is. My towels from Old Mac and Sheep Ranch, and then of course I've got a bunch of other stuff. So, yeah, but she let me in for that. And the staff out there are super amazing all the time. You know, I've got 1% gripe. I got to give them a 99%. Because this last trip out there, gosh, and I was on like, let's see here, I think I was on 13 or 14. No, I think it was 14. Yeah. No? Gosh, maybe it was 16. Or, I mean, sorry, 15, come to think of it. I'm trying to remember the shot that I was on, because I pumped driver out there to the left, and then I got up next to the green into chipped on, I think it was 15. There was a marshal out there, damn it, marshals, sorry for my language, but there I am, and here's this guy. I hate being interrupted by people I don't know when I play. I just loathe it. I don't know about you guys out there, but it's just me, man. When I'm out there, especially at a venue like Bandon Dunes, paying as much money as you gotta pay to play Bandon Dunes, damn sure ain't cheap, right? I expect to be left alone. Unless it is like you know, something serious that you need to interrupt me for, right? So here comes up this marshal while I'm in the fairway, and he wants to talk to me about pace of play. So I look at my GPS. I have 163 yards remaining to the green on whichever hole it was. It was towards the back. It was late in the round too, right? 163 yards. Uphill, probably playing around 172 or so, but easy attack range. I'm going for the green on my next shot at that yardage, no doubt, right? The group in front of us was still on the green, okay? All four of them with their caddies, right? It was like 6 people on the green all together. So I look at my GPS, see the yardage. It's like, yep, I'm in attack range. Look at the green, still the entire group on the green. Look back at the caddy. And I'm sorry, not the caddy, the marshal. I'm like, well, I can, with an expletive, I was rather pissed. Said, well, I can hit into him if you'd like. He's like, well, let's not do that. Like, well, how exactly would you like me to play faster then? Like, because that's my next move. If I hit right now, I'm hitting into them on the green. And of course, then, you know, it was a moment and I threatened to. I was like, you know what? Yeah, screw it. You want me to play faster? Here we go. I'm going to hit this shot up onto the green with them on it. Then you can explain to him why I just did that. He's like, ah, he got flustered and ran off. And then he apologized to my pops and my uncles. I was like, apologize to me. And it's like, you clown. You want to talk to me about pace of play? Because it was slow on Old Mac that day. Not my fault. I was all the way up there, you know what, the whole day, right? The group in front of us. All right, somebody else up there is playing slow. Ain't us, bro. If you're a marshal out there and you're watching this, do not interrupt people unless you really have to. If there is an empty hole in front of the group and they are playing slow, it is that group's fault, so be it. That's your job. You interrupt me while there is a group in attack range on the green in front of me, I'm ripping you a new one. It's going to be bad. Yeah. So I hope somebody at Bandon Dunes catches this content, and I hope that you have a talking to with your marshals, because that was unsatisfactory. Yeah. Do not interrupt me while I'm in attack range. Do not bother me in my round and talk to me about pace of play when I am all the way breathing down the throat of the group in front of me. Yeah, so you can tell, still a little pissed off about that. Marshals out there, stop being assholes. Leave people the hell alone. All right, so that's done. Aside from that one guy, that one marshal who just had to come up and bug me for no damn reason at all, everyone else is top notch. Everyone else is an absolute professional out there, and yeah, makes you feel just at home. Welcome to be out there. So, thank you for all of the rest of the staff at Bandon Dunes, save for that one marshal who made a mistake. That's now on YouTube. Congratulations. So, anyway, wish I'd have got his name. I'd have blasted him on YouTube. Then, you know, but then they would have probably sued me for some kind of defamation suit or anything. But it's not the first time I've had a marshal do that. So it's not just, you know, that one marshal. It's happened a couple of times where literally I'm breathing down the throat of the group in front of me. So it's really a general statement to marshals everywhere out there. Leave people alone. We don't want to talk to you. Okay? So if we are being miscreants and scofflaws, all right, or if we are the problem for slow play, we're the cause of it, so be it. You know, come up and say something, because clearly I have ceased paying attention to my pace of play at that point, and then it is my fault. If there's no empty hole in front of me, it's clearly not my fault. Why are you talking to me? Leave me alone. All marshals out there. So, yeah, let's get to the... So what have we done? We've done lodging, we've done food, we've done staff. Let's do patrons. Patrons out there, man. Here's the beautiful thing about Bandon. So, like I was mentioning earlier, it's such a small municipality, right, that basically, I mean, it's got to be up in the 90 percentile, right, somewhere up in probably the high 90s, of people who are visiting the area are there for the same reason that you are, to play magnificent, just heavenly golf out there on Bandon Dunes. And maybe they'll have Bandon crossings too. But, nevertheless, so that's the cool thing about it. It's like, you know, you go to Monterey, Caramel, whatever, to play, you know, the courses out there, you know, near or Pebble Beach itself and near Pebble Beach. There's also a ton of other reasons to be in Monterey and Caramel, that whole area, right? So there's a whole bunch of tourists out there who are there for nothing to do with golf. Same thing with Pinehurst, right? Same thing with the Dominican, Punta Cana, right? Same thing with, you know, Whistling Straits up there, right? So, I mean, there's all these golf venues all over the place where it's like, yeah, that's, you know, a big golf mecca, but there's lots of other reasons to be there other than golf. In Bandon Dunes, right, in the Bandon municipality, there isn't much. it's really just golf. So it's like golf Disneyland, man. You get out there, pretty much everyone you see, you know, you can tell if they're not around that area, they're probably wearing some golf swag and whatnot. You know how we all look, right? And it's like, oh, you know, hey, it's just a, you know, an icebreaker right off the bat, because you know they're there for the same reason you are. You know, where are you playing? Shoot, this last time I was staying off property, and I had an experience just like that. These guys staying, you know, across from me, clearly there to play golf. It's like, hey, where are you guys from? What courses you guys playing? Ah, cool, I played that last night. You know, it's just, you know, everybody there is out there to have a good time, and I just. There's been not a single bad attitude from any player there that I have run into, which has been a pretty considerable amount actually, for both times that I played out there. How many rounds? So, shoot, we played 4 this last time, 5, so 9 rounds I've played out at Bandon Dunes now, right? A lot of the courses twice, Sheep Ranch, Pacific, Old Mac twice, and the rest of them just once. Not one single player was having a bad time. Actually, the first time I'll never forget, and this was before I started YouTube, and there was a guy out there when we played Trails who was taking pictures, and he had a lot more serious camera equipment than I did. His caddy was humping his bag, and he was humping his. Okay, humping. That's a military term. Yeah, that's you know, me, combat vet, right? So that's the term that we use for carrying stuff, right? It's nothing sexual. Yeah, so, and he was out there humping his camera equipment, taking pictures of everything, not vlogging like I do, but still yet, I mean, you could tell that he'd caught a bunch of the flack like the rest of us out there with camera equipment doing the same thing too, because he was just kind of like, you know, I want to do my thing, you leave me alone. We're like, all right, cool, bro. But apart from that, and now, you know, at that point I didn't really get it. Now I kind of do. Now I really don't like playing with strangers, period. But so it is what it is. Welcome to vlogging your rounds. You'll understand if you try it yourself. But even he was having a great old time, and yeah, every single person that I've either played with or come in contact with out there who's visiting Bandon Dunes is out there to have a great time, and they are doing everything in their power to make sure that their attitude stays reminiscent of just that, them having a good time. So yeah, yeah. So I think that's everything minus the courses themselves. So let's go through that. I already talked about Bandon Dunes and Bandon Trails, so I'll rank them for you too. You know what? Let's not go through them in the order in which I played them. And let's leave the preserve off to the side. I talked to that a bit too. Yeah, I mean, 13 holes of just sheer magnificence. A couple of holes there that I hit putter off the tee box, the 13th, and I think the 2nd, if I remember right. No, the 3rd hole it had to have been. Yeah, 87 yards from the tips, so it was the 3rd. That number 8, 63 yards, but there was forced clearance there, if I remember right, so you can't really hit putter. And then on number 13, straight downhill, nothing to carry, just whack putter on down there. So that's always kind of cool, being able to hit putter off the tee box. I love that. Anytime I can break out the putter early when I'm not on the green, I just love it. And you can do it all the time at Bandon Dunes, all the time. Like, their fairways are trimmed down so short that you can barely tell the difference between fairway and green. I was hitting, I mean, on the first hole at Sheep Ranch, I hit a 75-yard putt to get on in 3 and got on the green, no problem. 75-yard putt to get on the green. I got on it, easy. Yeah, you gotta do it, man. Putter is never out of the question on Bandon Dunes. You can just putt all day long if you want. Probably not gonna score all that well. It is, you know, lengthy enough. You gotta get it up in the air at some point. But you could putt from a lot of places, and I recommend it. You know, if for nothing else, just because where else can you do that? You know, not a whole lot of places out there, that's for sure. So yeah, so let's talk about them in, how about ascending order? So, all right, my least favorite out there would be Trails. All right, so that would be rank 5, right, out of the 5 big courses out there. Not that Trails is a bad course, right? I would still put Trails in the top 10 of my favorite courses I've ever played in my life, right? It's definitely up there. But if I have to compare all the Bandon courses to each other, Trails would be my least favorite, just because I've never lived by the ocean, and getting out there for me is like it's so cool to play right next to the Pacific Ocean right there. Just those magnificent views. And Trails has like none of them, so it's all in the woods. And there are courses out here in Colorado like Bear Dance, right, that are pretty close to Bandon Trails anyway. So it's like, if I want to play a course that's like Bandon Trails, I can do it right here in Colorado. So, you know, it's just kind of like, why did I come all the way out here to the Oregon coast to play a course that looks just like a course I could play back home? But still a glorious, magnificent course, for sure. Certainly if you're from somewhere like the desert, or, you know, maybe Florida, somewhere more tropical, and you're not used to playing in the forest, right, in kind of the heavy woods, and that's just something that's kind of new for you, right, then you might really quite like Trails, because you're going to get a lot of it there. And it's a gorgeous course that, again, it's a lot tighter in terms of fairway width, right, than the rest of the courses out there, so it's definitely more target golf oriented. The greens are definitely smaller than all of the other courses out there. I mean, okay, there's some large greens out there too, yeah, you know, but yeah, there's some small ones, yeah. So if I had to rate all of the green sizes against each other, Trails would certainly have the smallest greens of them all, no doubt. And definitely more obstacles, you know, more sloping fairways and stuff like that, that you really got to pick your shot shape in order to stay up on the fairway and not roll completely off in one direction or the other, depending on which hole it is, or you know, off the front and come all the way back off into the fairway after having hit the green or something like that. So yeah, I guess the undulation there is more drastic than the rest of the courses, I'd say. So yeah, but it's just my least favorite just because I have all of that right here in Colorado too. Okay, then my fourth favorite would be Old Mac. Never played again. So why is it my fourth favorite? Just because, again, it's got the second least ocean views. There's only a couple holes. And right at the turn there where you're looking out at the ocean, one that plays, let's see here, I can't remember which one it is. I think it might be 9. That goes up to the ocean there. I could just bring up my channel since I already have that up right now. But I haven't edited the other ones yet. But I will get them up, obviously, before I release this review. Gosh, you know, I can't remember. Is it 7? It's a par 4 that plays up to the ocean. Yeah, it's 7. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's 7 that plays up there. So, and then the green kind of overlooks the ocean, but you can't see it until you get all the way up on the green. So that's kind of neat. But and then it's to your back, playing out at 8, and I think that's it. I think that's really all of the ocean views that you get on Old Mac. But Old Mac is brilliant just because it's probably the truest to like Scottish links style golf that you're going to get out on the property there. So, I mean, big old wide fairways. I mean, if you lose a ball out there, oh boy, you did something real bad, right? Like, wide fairways, and it's just, it's awesome. You just grip and rip everything, and, you know, not really have to worry about being able to find your ball. Just, man, tee it high and let it fly out there. It's freaking brilliant. There's only like 2 holes that I would say are kind of tight where you gotta, you know, be a little more target golfy, but most of them out there, it's just like, even if you don't hit the massive fairway, you're still gonna be in this rough that's, you know, very forgiving and easy to find your ball in. You don't gotta worry about a thing. It's footloose and fancy free out there. You just gotta love it. Let's see here, the greens out there, massive, biggest on property for sure, love that. But you could very well have a 130 foot putt beyond the green. Be like, all right, congratulations, you're GIR, and you have 130 feet left. What? Say what? You know, it's like, God. So, good luck too putting if you get in the wrong part of the green. But nevertheless, at least you could say you hit the green in regulation. Because they are vast out there for you to hit them and such. So, yeah, there's that. The bunkers, okay, the bunkers across the board are all pretty consistent throughout every course out there at Bandon Dunes. And they use like beach sand out there. It's really deep sand out there, really, really fine and fluffy. Super hard to get out of. All of them. The bunkers out there will just eat your lunch. You better take the fullest power swing you possibly can greenside and make sure that you strike it right, you know, not in that ball, just in the sand behind that ball to make it come out of that bunker if you happen to get in one. Very, very tough. You got to put some heat on that shot to get out. Promise you. That said, no rocks in them. They're all pristine. They're beautiful to look at. I mean, there's some massive, massive bunkers out there. So, especially on Pacific Dunes. Oh boy. So, yeah. So there's that. Just make that comment about bunkers across the board. Let's see here. Playability. Yeah, I think Old Mac is probably the easiest of all 5 of the large courses out there. So rank 5 being the hardest, rank 4 being the easiest. So, my opinion, that is. Yeah, Old Mac. It's just a heck of a round. Especially number 3, right, with the ghost tree, where you just hit a blind tee shot straight up, and the ghost tree is your only sort of, you know, guiding compass artifact or landmark ever to show you where the fairway's actually at. It's just a cool way to start off a hole there. Very neat. So yeah, there's Old Mac for you. Awesome. All right, third favorite out there, the old course, Bandon Dunes. So yeah, I mean, just excellent through and through track. Plenty of ocean views out there. The first 2 holes play inland, and then after that, I think it is the 3rd hole. Am I right? Yeah, 3rd hole plays out towards the ocean. Right here in the picture is the Pacific Ocean. So at the bottom border of this map here. So yeah, 3 and then 4 ends up. So that's the first oceanside green that you're going to hit. 5, the ocean's all on your left side. Same thing with 6, 7 back inland, 8 back out towards the ocean, 9 back into the clubhouse. Take yourself a pit stop. 11, 12. Playing back out towards the ocean, or 10, 11 playing out towards the ocean, 12 oceanside, 15 oceanside, or yeah, ocean green there, and 16 oceanside, 17 finally playing back inland, and then big old 18, big old giant par 5 back towards the clubhouse. So, what is this here? For oceanside holes, you got 1, 2, 3. An argument could be made for well, no, you're played that way, so we won't count 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then it sets you back there. So 6 holes on the ocean there. And if you turn around on 2 others, if you turn around on 17 and 7, then you're also going to have ocean views behind you. So yeah, I mean, you got well, really, is that? Let me count them good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Really 8 holes that, you know, are going to be ocean viewy from there. But I mean, the rest of the course is built in such a way to where you can turn around and look out at the ocean pretty much for the entire course. It's just awesome through and through. Great track. Yeah, it's hard to beat. Except it can be beat, in my opinion anyway, by the remaining 2. Pacific Dunes, my second favorite, and my dad's favorite. So Vic, my pops out there, this is his favorite track on the property, my second favorite. So, I mean, yeah, Pacific, tons of ocean views. I hit my second longest drive at sea level out there at number 4 back in 2020, hit a 350-yard drive down the fairway there. Only to be matched by the shot that only to be topped by the shot that I hit on number 3 at Old Mac in the Old Mac video here, where I hit one 360. Yeah, that was really cool. So it's nice to have progressed in 2 years as I start to get older, rather than regress. But yeah, so that was neato. And then, I mean, I wish I had a map of Pacific, you know, to look at too. But I mean, it's the namesake, right? Pacific Dunes, tons of ocean views on the course there. So I mean, one's inland, you don't really get ocean views there. 2 is kind of the same, but it plays out towards the ocean. 3 is, I think, where you first start to open it up and get to the ocean side. 4 is right alongside it, or right alongside the Pacific Ocean, that is. And yeah, from there on out, you're kind of switching back and forth between ocean and inland all day. So, but yeah, it's magnificent. Simply magnificent. I mean, so that my first time out there at Bandon Dunes, we played Pacific Dunes first. It was the first round that we played. And gosh, the first birdie that I dropped out there was on a par 5. I should just go upstairs and grab that scorecard too. I can't remember which hole it was though. Was it 15? Oh no. No, that's the hole I birdied this time. I birdied 15 and 18. That was cool. But let's see here. Gosh, it's definitely a par 5. What was it? You know, it had to have been 12 because I did not. Yeah, I bogeyed it this time. Yeah, that's right. But number 12, I birdied the first time that I was out there with like a 30-foot putt. It's in that photo caddy video. If you go look that up on the channel, he captured that. Alex did. Yeah, I captured that birdie putt. It was awesome. I mean, I'll just never forget that moment. I'll just never forget it. It was a great day. It was a great round. This was a great round. Shoot, I should have 85. That's not bad. Yeah, but I mean, hard to beat Pacific Dunes. Another fun fact, so I have played Pebble Beach before, and I rank Sheep Ranch and Pacific Dunes in my lineage, my, like, you know, all-time, my whole life list of courses that I've played. I rank Sheep Ranch and Pacific over Pebble Beach. My opinion, might catch some heat for that out there. Maybe a lot of you guys disagree with me. If you do, okay. You know, if you've played all 3 and you're like, no, I like, you know, Pebble better than Pacific, or I like Pebble better than Sheep, or I like Pebble as my number 1, and then, you know, some other courses. Maybe you disagree with me, I don't care. You know, this is my opinion. So I prefer these 2 courses over Pebble Beach. My preference. They're also cheaper. Pebble's like $550 a round. Not for nothing. So there's that. The greens out there, Pacific Dunes, they're pretty large in size too. Pretty, you know, modest. So easy enough to attack pretty much everywhere. Not really guarded by much. Yeah, there's a fair amount of sand traps, a lot of fescue. But yeah, so I mean, the fairways are large enough that you can stay out of the gorse bushes. So the gorse bushes are really the only thing, you know, on a lot of these courses actually, that you will not get your ball out of. Unless you got like a little extender roddy thingy where you can get in there and, you know, like you would a lake, like you were getting it out of a ball out of a lake. Because those bushes are so thorny, they will draw blood. I mean, just period. You reach your hand in there, especially short sleeves. I mean, if you got long sleeves, say goodnight to your sleeve. You know, it's going to have snags and rips all in it now. But you're barehanded, reaching in there to grab your ball into a gorse bush, you're bleeding. You come out, promise you. Yeah, that stuff is brutal. Don't try it, man. Like, unless you don't care about, you know, bleeding down your arm for the rest of the day trying to play golf. But besides that, ill-advised, would not recommend it. Let's see here. So yeah, fairways, modestly wide to be hit pretty much everywhere. A couple of shots, you got to pick your shots. The par 3s are kind of tough at Pacific. Yeah, that's true. But all in all, it's just an excellent round. Can't play footloose and fancy free like you can as much out at Old Mac. Maybe I might say it's slightly tighter than Bandon Dunes, the old course. Slightly tighter, not much. But yeah, pretty awesome. And then my favorite course, both on property and in the world so far, for me, Sheep Ranch. Sheep Ranch is the newest course out there at Bandon Dunes, opened at the beginning of the summer in 2020. Yeah, right before we went out there to play it. It's the only course that I've ever played in my entire life that is completely absent of bunkers. It's the only course on property, only one, that you don't have to worry about a sand trap the entire day. They don't exist. And I hear tell that they don't exist because, in both times that I played Sheep Ranch, this was not the case. But apparently the wind gets so violent out there on Sheep Ranch from time to time that it would simply blow all the sand out of the bunkers anyway. So they're like, why would we bother? Apparently that's the reason. That's what I heard. Don't know if that's true or not. That's rumor, or rumor intelligence, as we say in the DoD industry. So yeah, take that for what you will. But nevertheless, the result is, whatever the reason, the result is that you don't have to deal with bunkers the entire day that you play Sheep Ranch. So that's cool. There are little grass bunkers all over the place, but okay, it's grass. You know, play it like you would a grass shot. Just, you know, whatever. If there's a lip there that you can't get over, all right, play it. Hire a club. Play it normal. It is what it is. I would say that the fairways out there are wider for the most part. There's the par 5 towards the end there, so that's got to be, no. Oh, is that a par 4? No. Is it now? Is it number 11? Yeah, okay, number 11. Yeah, that one, that's kind of a tight fairway, that par 5 there. I mean, if you miss right, then you got a good chance that you could kick back left just because it kind of slopes up the hill from there. If you miss left, then you're going to have tree trouble. But other than that, you don't have gorse problems, so that's nice. And then from there, it kind of really comes into a focal point before you go up onto the green, which I smoked a 4-iron up there, hit the top of the rock off to the right with a drawing into the green. Might have got all the way to the green if I hadn't hit that rock, because that probably took a little bit of roll out of it with the amount of draw that I had put on that shot. But nevertheless, it was pretty cool to see, since I did put it right in front of the green in 2 there. And then I think I chipped up, and did I par that? No? Oh yes, I did. Yeah, I did. Yeah, so I got on the green from there, then 2-putt parred it. Not bad. Man, I really got to start capitalizing on par 5s though, right? And birdie more of them. I always kind of take some reprieve on these par 5s and just be content with a par. But man, I really got to start really, trying to birdie them more, because that's kind of like my relax holes, those par 5s when I'm vlogging. Just because I know I'm a pretty decently big hitter. And I know I'm going to get real close to the green, if not on the green in 2. So I'm just like, all right, I can relax for a second. All right, clean up my par, right, move on. And when I bogey a par 5, though, that's really a crying shame. Which isn't often, but it happens. It does. So, yeah. Anyway, not that day, though, did I? Yeah, I parred all 4 par 5s at Sheep Ranch this day. Yeah, neato. Cool. I love when that happens. Yep. But, yeah, anyway, those are scoring holes, and I should treat them as such. And try to hit more birds on them. Stay focused. But, yeah, Sheep Ranch, I mean, man, the greens out there are, they're sizable. Yeah, pretty big greens that you've got. A lot of undulation on all the greens out there. There is no such thing as a flat green at Bandon Dunes. There will be little humps and stuff like that all over the place, guaranteed. Big old breaks. Look at 18 on on Old Mac, right? And that putt that I had to hit, like 25 feet to the right, and he came all the way back around, you know, in front of the hole there. I mean, just switch facing all day, every day, out at Bandon Dunes. But it's kind of fun, you know, it's cool. You're just hitting over these crazy weird humps, almost like it's mini golf. Pro tip, if you are going out to Bandon and you want to putt a little better, then it would probably be wise of you to start your venture out there with the punch bowl. You know, go out there, spend a few hours out there, have a couple of cocktails. They make some great drinks right there, obviously, and you carry it around with you out on the punch bowls. 36 holes for you to putt at, and then you can make up your own shots for any hole, just like you would any other putting green, right? If you like. But there's like 2 18-hole course, like putting courses there too, with these, you know, modestly short putts. But all of them with ridiculous breaks, and the undulation on that punch bowl putting green is crazy. So if you really want to get used to the greens out there at Bandon Dunes, the punch bowl would be a good place for you to start, right? And then nothing will scare you. If you can get good on the punch bowl and, you know, stick it close, no matter what the shot is on the punch bowl, you'll be putting really good all week. Promise. Just, you know, remember those breaks and what they look at. Things tend to break towards the ocean out there for the tricky break holes, so bear that in mind. Yeah, obviously if there's a hill slope next to you, pay attention to that. That comes into play a lot on Bandon trails. You know what, I haven't really talked about green quality, and this is a good time for it, since I recall what I mentioned earlier in the video here, and that I was going to talk about endangered and you know, plant life, and plant life's being threatened from plants out of state, right? With the, what was that again? The silvery physalias. Yeah, that's right. That's being threatened by out of state plant life. So too are the greens out there on Bandon Dunes. So the quality of the greens out there, top notch. You know, they're pretty hard. They're not real receptive. So I would not expect to, you know, if you skyjack a ball, you know, like you're hitting a high lofted, like a lob wedge, something like that, that's going to have a good chance to stick. Greenside bunker shots, as long as they're well struck, with just a nice float and you don't end up sculling them or knifing them or something like that, those will probably stick on the green too. But approach shots, you better really have a lot of spin on them if you're planning on getting them to stick, and do not try to hit them low, because good chance, unless you hit low and, you know, make the ball land on its first bounce in the fairway and make it roll up like that, if you land on the green and it doesn't have a good amount of backspin, you're going off the back, all right, or whatever direction it is that you were attacking the green from. So bear that in mind. But again, take advantage of the fact that the fairways are so nice out there, so nice, so well kept, that you can putt for those short shots, man. Like anything under 100, you should start thinking about breaking out the putter if you've got nothing in front of you, man. Seriously. Like, at least give it a thought. And if you think you can make it happen, do it. It's awesome. And that will help you hold a lot more greens than you probably otherwise would have if you chipped everything onto the green, like you no doubt do in your normal rounds of golf that you play out there wherever it is that you are. Let's see here, but back to the threatened plant life and stuff, and that point I was going to make. The greens specifically on Sheep Ranch, right? And I forget the type of grass that they use out there. Is it bent grass or something like that? I can't remember what is native to what it is they built the course out of. But the greens have little on Sheep Ranch, at least as of May in 2022. The greens had these little spots of poana all over the place. That is not what it is they built this course out of. And you know, poa green or poa grass, you know, it grows up all kind of knotty and matted and stuff like that. It's what makes the greens at Pebble Beach so hard. And you know, if it was all poa grass, it'd be okay, because at least it would be consistent everywhere. but it's a different thickness, a different, growth type, right? Different model of green, of grass rather, than the grass that they actually use at Bandon Dunes. And so it turns out just being all kinds of splotchy all over the place, and then, you get nothing that rolls truly true, like it would if the greens were, a consistent type of grass out there. So you've got poe grass growing on the greens, and the most of it was on Sheep Ranch. To mention again, this last time I was out there. No doubt, because there's a lot of people coming up from California and stuff to play the new course at Bandon, play Sheep Ranch, and as magnificent as I think it is, I can't be alone in that opinion. So, I don't blame you for going up there and playing, but for the love of God, clean your shoes. And you know what? That's probably a good bit of advice if you're traveling from your, whatever local area that you reside in to anywhere to play golf. Clean your shoes so that you don't end up leaving the course with a growth that's going to take them hundreds of thousands of dollars potentially to fix. Because that's what it's going to cost them to fix Sheep Ranch and all the greens out there now. Thanks to people coming out there with, Poana still on their golf shoes, and they walk right out onto the course out there at Bandon Dunes, and they drag it all along with them, and it starts growing. And then it messes up the course. Alright everybody, sorry about that. Battery died. Drained an entire battery for the first part of this course review, or rather installation resort review for Bandon Dunes there. So yeah, anyway, apologize, but yeah, what can I do? Batteries are batteries, they run out. We're almost done anyway. So I was talking about the greens at Sheep Ranch there. The condition of them, so far as the greenskeeper could do with day-to-day management, pristine. Same thing with all of the courses out there. Awesome. It, I got the feel, and they, like I said again, there were stiff greens, so not a whole lot of chance to make a very large divot in the first place, but none of the greens really had a whole lot of divots on them at all. And if I fly it up in the air there, I can make a divot, so it can be done. But pretty clear of that, so I get the impression that players also respect the courses out there, a pretty fair deal, just because of the lack of pitch marks there on the green. So that was nice. A lot of people are replacing and repairing their scars they leave on the greens, as they should, as I do, as we all should. Yeah, bunkers raked, so that's, yeah, everybody's pretty respectful of the course out there, for sure. And the greenskeepers, all the superintendents and whatnot, I'm sure there's a colossal staff to manage the upkeep of that place. You guys do a fabulous job, through and through, bar none. You guys are great. So if you guys happen to catch this, thank you for the work that you do, and for keeping such an amazing establishment the way that it is, so that golfing fiends like myself can continue to come out there and enjoy such a remarkable establishment. All right, so that's all the courses, isn't it? Yeah. That's all of everything, isn't it? Went through everything. Got to patrons, got to staff. Again, staff, apart from that one marshal just had to bug me. And he wasn't rude about it either. Okay, let me be fair. The marshal that bugged me at Old Mac there late in the round wasn't rude about it. I just thought it was rude in general that you would interrupt my round when clearly I could go nowhere. So, but he wasn't being his demeanor wasn't rude. It was the action itself that was rude. Should know better if you're a marshal. I'm guessing you're a golfer if you're a marshal, at least I hope you are. So try to have some empathy. It's important. So anyway, all in all, let's get to the finale then of this review. I know battery dies and I have like a couple of minutes left for the remainder of the review here. Is it worth it, Bandon Dunes, to go out there? It is expensive out there. Everything's expensive. Yeah. There's not a single thing you can do outside of the practice facility, which is amazing. I didn't really talk about that. The practice facility, there's 2 driving ranges out there, and they are attached to none of the courses. Gosh, okay. I guess I got a little bit longer because I didn't talk about that. So you got to go to the driving range, and there's a shuttle service out there if you're not out there with a vehicle, right? That will, I mean, you call them from anywhere you are on property. Be like, hey, I need a shuttle from here. I'm going to there. A couple minutes, they're there, man. You and your clubs. Put your clubs in the back, shuttle you wherever you need to go. Good to go. Whether it's to your lodging if you're staying on property, whether it's to a restaurant, another course, whatever you want to do, they're there to get you, and they're butt quick too, I tell you. But the practice facility there, so there's this separate range there. Oh, I put up a video of it, so you see that. So there's like, you know, a range that goes this way and a range that goes this way, and they only have one or the other open at a time. No doubt, so they can let the actual grass grow back where you're actually hitting balls from, right, on the driving range line there. So, but both ranges are super pretty to look at, so I've hit on them both. Awesome, love them both. A massive, massive putting green there. Not nearly as undulating, not even close to as undulating as the punch bowl, but still a big, big putting green there that you know all players can sit there and practice their putting on. So that's nice. So yeah, and then they've got a little bit smaller chipping green that's just up from there. So if you've got one driving range this way, another one this way, here's like the little clubhouse right here. We've got like a little mini clubhouse. Nobody's really manning it, but for the driving range, or driving ranges, yeah. And then here's the putting green here. Just over here is a little chipping green, so a little bit smaller than the big putting green there, but still sizable enough to hit any kind of chip you want outside of a bunker. I don't think there's any bunkers around that, I recall. But and then just over here from that is shorties, which is, so that's how I got to this. That's the only other kind of free thing that you can do there. That's one of the few things I have not done on Bandon in the way of swinging a club, is played shorties. And I guess it's like a little area where there's a bunch of greens set up out there and a bunch of tee boxes. You kind of like pick your own shot. So it's like, all right, let's go over there to that tee box. We'll play to over there at that green, or we'll just play right next door to that green, or whatever. Just kind of like make your own holes up. And there's nobody out there manning it, but I think there's like a little like box there, like an amnesty box, you know, they kind of expect you to donate if you're going to go out there and utilize shorties. So, you know, throw them whatever you like, but, you know, you're not going to get, the police isn't going to come out and say anything to you if you just go out there and play for free. So you could do that, or you could, you know, be a good person and, you know, contribute to the little facility they have there at Shorties. So, which is just basically another practice area for really green striking, honestly. You know, from various yardages, whatever yardages you choose out there. Kind of build your own hole. So I haven't done it myself. Next time I go out there, yeah, I'm going to make a point to go to Shorties just to check it out, just so I know what it is. Know how it feels now. Oh, that's cool. But everything else there, pretty pricey. Yeah, you're not getting away with cheap anything, except for Tuft and Puff. And the breakfast there was pretty fairly priced, I thought. Pacific Grill, that was expensive. McKee's Pub, a little more expensive than you would expect for a pub, but not much, really. Trails End, you know, that was kind of the same as McKee's. All right, food there is not that expensive. I guess I got to take that back. Golf out there, obviously, you know, up over $300 if you're not staying on property. But if you are staying on property, you're looking at a couple $100 a night, you know, at the very least, right, to stay there. Yeah, so no matter what, you're shelling out some coin out there. But is it worth it to get out there and spend all that money to see what Bandon Dunes is all about? In my opinion, absolutely. Absolutely. It's just an experience that, at least so far as all of the places that I've played in my 28 years of playing golf now, shoot, almost 29 years of playing golf in my comparatively short life. There's no place that I've been to yet, anyway, like like Bandon Dunes. Yeah, it's that magnificent. It's breathtaking and secluded, peaceful. The fact that everyone's walking the course, it just adds to that much more silence. You don't have carts going all over the place, right? You don't have that. It's just quiet all over. It's just brilliant. It's heaven on earth if you're an avid golfer. Highly recommend. Gotta try it. Gotta check it out. You will not be disappointed. It's impossible to be disappointed going out to Bandon Dunes. Impossible. If you go out there and you think anything less, I don't know what to say for you. But our opinions are drastically different. If that's what it is you think, if you go out there. So, there it is. That's my review of the property. And all of the courses that it has to offer to all of us golf addicts out there. So, there you have it. Hope you enjoyed this content. It's my honest review. Hope you can, especially garner some honesty out of me from my not holding back on things that I don't like, that's for sure. Hopefully that gives you a good sense of me not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm just going to give it to you exactly the way that I see it, exactly the way that it happens. And that's what it is. I think the only review worth watching, anything worth watching or listening to is the truth. One's very truthful and honest opinion about anything. Otherwise, what's it worth? Nothing. My opinion. Everything's my opinion. On this channel. So, I hope you enjoyed this content, this rather lengthy review of the property, with 5 regulation size courses plus 1 par 3 track, all the food, the lodging, and everything there is to talk about out there. It's kind of required a lengthy review. But I hope that gives you some insight as to what the property has to offer. If you have any more questions, if I missed anything in this review, again, I so far as the restaurants go, I can't comment on the forge. I can't comment on the bunker, really. The only thing that I would have commented on anyway would have been an old-fashioned, which I did, which I got at McKee's, but I reckon it's probably the same. And I can't comment on the food at Sheep Ranch. But everything else I hit, so far as food goes. For lodging, obviously I haven't stayed in every type of lodging that they have there, but it's all going to be good. I will say that the lodging there is far superior to anything that you're going to find out on the economy, that's for sure. So while you will pay quite a bit more to stay on property, I think it's going to accent your time spent there a little bit better, no doubt. So, but if you have any other questions about anything and my critique on that thing, whatever that thing should be, please fire me a comment down in the comments below and I will respond to you. And I will let you know what it is that I think about whatever it is you're asking me about. Alright? So, thank you again for watching this review of Bandon Dunes Golf Resort in Bandon, Oregon. And we look forward to seeing you back on the channel next time. And as always, have a great day.